మీకు హోస్ట్ ఇచ్చేసేస్తాను, రన్ చేసేసేయండి. నేను ఇక్కడే ఉన్నా, ఏదైనా అవసరమైతే నాకు మెసేజ్ చేయండి.
షూర్ అండి.
మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నారనమ్మా మీరు? మ్యూట్ లో ఉన్నారా?
రామానుజుల వారికి, ఆదిశేషుల వారిని ఇస్కాలియా మిర్రర్లోకి వారి యొక్క బర్త్డే ఎనర్జీస్ని పంపేయమని అడుగుదాం. ఇస్కాలియా మిర్రర్ మనకంటే పొడవు వెడల్పుతో మన ముందు ఉంది. దీనిలోకి బ్రీత్ ఇన్ బ్రీత్ అవుట్ చేసినప్పుడల్లా ఇందులో ఎనర్జీస్ 1000 కోట్ల శక్తి పెరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. అందులోకి మాస్టర్స్ అందరూ ఎనర్జీస్ పంపుతున్నారు. మనం బ్రీత్ ఇన్ బ్రీత్ అవుట్ అందులోకి చేద్దాం. ఇస్కాలియా మిర్రర్లోంచి బ్రీత్ ఇన్, మళ్ళీ బ్రీత్ అవుట్ బ్యాక్ టు మిర్రర్. వాటిలో శక్తిని పెంచుతున్నాం ఆ మిర్రర్లో. ఆదిశేషుల వారు, అలాగే గరుత్మంతుల వారు, లక్ష్మీనారాయణుడు చంకచక్రధారుడై మన ముందు ఉండి ఆయన యొక్క లక్ష్మీదేవి, నారాయణుడు, ఆయన పరివారం ఎనర్జీస్ ఈ మిర్రర్లోకి వెళ్తున్నాయి. అలాగే సప్తఋషులు, మన హనుమంతుల వారు, 32 ముఖాలు కలిగిన బ్రహ్మ హనుమంతుల వారు భూమిపైన ఇప్పుడు బ్రహ్మలాగా ఉండి దీనికి ఎనర్జీస్ వెళ్తున్నాయి. అలాగే సూర్య భగవానుడు, చంద్రుడు ఉన్నారు. పరమానందమైన breathe in, breathe out into the mirror. రామానుజుల వారు, ఆదిశేషుల వారు మనందరినీ చుట్టలాగా చుట్టి పూర్తి ఎనర్జీస్ ని శక్తినిస్తూ, అలాగే డ్రాగన్స్ ను కూడా మన యొక్క స్పైన్ ని చుట్టి అందులో ఉన్న చక్రాస్ అన్నిటినీ కూడా బ్యాలెన్స్ చేస్తూ మన అమ్మవారి ఎనర్జీ భూదేవి, సప్త నదులు, గంగా, యమున, సరస్వతి, కావేరి, నర్మద, అన్ని నదుల సంగమం ఇక్కడ శ్రీ శక్తిలాగా సరస్వతీదేవి అంటే పూర్తి జ్ఞానం, లక్ష్మీదేవి పూర్తి కరుణ, మోక్షాన్ని ఇచ్చే తల్లి, అలాగే శక్తి మాత, మన యొక్క పార్వతీ మాత అందరూ కలిసి ఉన్న ఈ శక్తి మనని చిన్న బేబీ లాగా చేసి వారు మనని పడుకోబెట్టుకుని, అలాగే భూదేవి ఎనర్జీ, శ్రీతత్వం యొక్క ఎనర్జీస్ అన్నిటితో మనని శరీరం అంతా కూడా శక్తివంతం చేస్తున్నారు. కణాన్ని, మనలో ఉన్న ప్రతి కణాన్ని శక్తివంతం చేస్తూ, మనం ఇస్కాలియా మిర్రర్లోకి బ్రీత్ ఇన్ బ్రీత్ అవుట్ చేస్తూ ఆ ఎనర్జీస్ని ఇక్కడ అటెండ్ చేసే వాళ్ళు, యూట్యూబ్లో అటెండ్ చేసే వాళ్ళు, ఫ్యూచర్లో ఎప్పుడు ఈ యొక్క క్లాస్ని విన్న వారందరికీ కూడా ఈ ఎనర్జీస్ ఆ క్షణంలో వెళ్ళేలాగా మనము ఇస్కాలియా మిర్రర్కి చెప్దాం. అయితే ఈ మిర్రర్ ఎనర్జీస్ మనందరిలోకి బ్రీత్ ఇన్ చేసి బ్రీత్ అవుట్ మన శరీరంలోకి చేసుకుందాం. మన శరీరం అంతా శక్తివంతంగా మారింది. బంగారు కాంతులతో ప్రతి సెల్ రైజ్ అవుతూ మనకి ఎటువంటి శక్తులు మన దగ్గరికి రాకుండా మనని కాంతివంతంగా శక్తివంతంగా చేస్తుంది. పూర్తిగా ఈ ప్రపంచమంతా ఎదుగుతూ మన శరీరము పూర్తిగా బంగారు కాంతిలాగా మారి అమ్మవారి చేతులు అకాంతియుతమైన స్పర్శ మనందరినీ తాకుతూ, మన ఆ దివ్య పురుషుడు, దివ్యత్వమైన ఆదిశేషుల వారు మనను చుట్టి పూర్తి శక్తిని మన మూడో కన్నులో వారి నాలుకతో, మూడో కన్ను యొక్క శక్తి, అలాగే మన యొక్క అన్నిటిలో కూడా శక్తిని నింపుతూ అందులో ఎనర్జీ పూర్తిగా పైకి వచ్చేలాగా దాంట్లో ఉన్న బ్లాక్స్, సరికాని ఎనర్జీస్, అలాగే కర్మల్ని కూడా రిలీజ్ చేస్తూ మనకి డ్రీమ్స్ తో చూపిస్తూ శరీరంలో ఉన్న సరికాని ఎనర్జీస్ అన్నిటినీ రిలీజ్ చేస్తున్నారు. అలాగే మన యొక్క చక్రం మూడవ మణిపూరంలో కొలవతో కూడిన చక్రం ఫైర్ తో నిండి, ఈ చక్రం శరీరం అంతా నిండి ఒక భూగోళం లాగా ఎనర్జీస్ ఇస్తూ శరీరంలో ఉన్న సరికాని ఎనర్జీస్ అన్నిటినీ పటాపంచలు చేస్తూ ఒక రాకెట్ లాగా శరీరంలో, అలాగే మన ఇంట్లో తిరుగుతూ పూర్తిగా రిలీజ్ చేస్తూ, అలాగే మనము పూర్తిగా ఈ శక్తి ఇలాగే ఉండేలాగా ఎటువంటి సరికాని ఎనర్జీస్ మనలోకి రాకుండా ఒక బ్లూ కలర్ మన ఇంటి చుట్టూ, మన చుట్టూ గీతను గీస్తూ, అలాగే ఆరెంజ్ కలర్ గీతను గీస్తూ రామానుజుల వారు పూర్తిగా మనకి బంగారు కాంతిని మన ఇంట్లో మనలో, అలాగే గ్రీన్ కలర్ కాంతి అంటే సంతోషాన్ని శంఖంతో పూరించి, శంఖం పూర్తిగా పాంచజన్య శంఖం పూరిస్తూ అందులో ఉన్న శత్రుత్వాన్ని రిలీజ్ చేసి మిత్రుత్వాన్ని పెంచే ఈ శంఖం పూర్తిగా గ్రీన్ కలర్ ఎనర్జీస్తో, అలాగే మనకి శంకు చక్రం ఎనర్జీస్తో, ఫైర్తో, అలాగే పాజిటివ్తో పూర్తిగా నిండి ఉండి మనకు పూర్తి ప్రొటెక్షన్ వలయం ఉంది. కళేమరంలోకి బ్రీత్ చేస్తూ మన శరీరంలోకి తీసుకుని అమ్మవారి యొక్క శక్తి మన శరీరం అంతా కూడా మజిల్స్, బోన్స్, బ్లడ్ సప్లై అన్నిటినీ కూడా మన రైట్ బ్రెయిన్, లెఫ్ట్ బ్రెయిన్ మీద కూడా చెయ్యి పెట్టి మనలో మెమరీని పెంచి శరీరం అంతా శక్తివంతంగా చేసింది. నేనే ఆ దివ్యత్వాన్ని, నేనే ఆ బంగారు కాంతిని, నేనే ఆ శక్తిని. నేను ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా ఏమి చేసినా ప్రేమ అనే శక్తితో, ప్రేమ అనే మాటలతో మాట్లాడుతూ అందరినీ శక్తివంతంగా చేస్తూ ప్రేమతో, ప్రేమ శక్తితో అక్కడంతా ప్రకాశవంతంగా ఉంచుతాను. నేనే ఆ బంగారు కాంతిని, నేనే ఆ బంగారు శక్తిని. ముందుగా 2 చేతులు కళ్ళపైన పెట్టుకుని చేతులను చూస్తూ కళ్ళు తెరవండి. మీకు కంటిన్యూ చేద్దాం అనుకునే వాళ్ళు కంటిన్యూ చేయండి.
ఓకే ఫ్రెండ్స్, మన 2 చేతులు కళ్ళ మీద పెట్టుకొని ఎనర్జీస్ రిసీవ్ చేసుకుంటూ హనుమంతుల వారికి, హనుమ గారికి కృతజ్ఞత చెప్పుకుంటూ మనం నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ వినుకుందాము. మెడిటేషన్ కంటిన్యూ చేసుకునే వాళ్ళు అలాగే కళ్ళు మూసుకొని క్లాస్ విందాము. థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి.
Special day. Today is Sri Ramanujacharya's Tirunakshatram. Tirunakshatram means happy birthday, like how we celebrate our birthdays, but Tirunakshatram is where they celebrate the birthday on the basis of the nakshatram where, somebody is born. So today is the Tirunakshatram for Sri Ramanujacharya Swamy, and as well as Adi Shankaracharya Swamy too. Both of their birthdays fall on the same nakshatram, different years though. So Ramanujacharya Swamy came, after Shankaracharya Swamy. If we go into the, life story of Sri Ramanujacharya Swamy, we need to, need to think, why do we need to know about Sri Ramanujacharya Swamy? Why is it so important to know about him? Because we see so many famous people in our life, but Ramanujacharya Swamy is, completely, his story is completely different from other great people whom we have heard in our lives. So how is it different? Why is, Ramanujacharya different from others? Because usually, whenever we do certain things, we do either for ourselves or we do to gain the name, to gain wealth, or to gain fame, or to gain power. But if we look into the life history of Ramanujacharya Swamy, we can see, like, whatever he has done, there is no self reason for himself. He hasn't done anything for himself. Always his thoughts were for, for people, for humans. How can they utilize this human life, or how can they make use of this human life to go into a better state? That was the always the thinking of Ramanujacharya Swamy. So that's what makes him different from everybody else, and that is the reason why we should learn. Every soul, every human on this earth should know about him, because he has shown a path for the mankind. Usually people, like, if we talk about independence to countries, or any kind of great works done by great people, it is done when we are here, something to make our lives happy or for a better life when we are right here. But what Ramanujacharya Swamy has done for us is not only to lead a happy life when you are on this earth, not only that, but after this life, we all know we are in the karma bondage. So not only living a happy life in this life, but get rid of this karma bondage, and after this life also the soul gets to attain the moksha. That is what was his goal, or his preachings were focused on this point, that a soul should attain the moksha after this life. So that is the reason, that is the foremost reason we should learn about Ramanujacharya Swamy, what were his teachings, and how can one lead a life which was, taught by him. So today we have, like, maybe like half hour, 45 minutes. very precisely talk about what he has done to the mankind, and meanwhile we will know, the life stories, how he went through the difficulties in his life, what were the difficulties, and how did he become an acharya, and all that. Before that, who is a true acharya, or who is a true teacher or a guru? When I say teacher or a guru, it's going to be a very small word to use for Ramanujacharya. So an acharya who is someone who, first of all, they have to gain the immense knowledge for themselves, and the second part is they have to practice that knowledge. Just gaining the knowledge is not enough, or it does not complete oneself. You have to implement what you are learning, and you have to live it. And then once you start teaching to others what you have learned and what you are living, then one becomes a complete acharya. So Ramanujacharya Swami was also, he is the greatest acharya, because not only he has seeked knowledge from various teachers, and he has lived upon that, and he has preached that to the world, so that one can attain the highest state of soul, can achieve, like the salvation or the moksham. When we look into the life history of Ramanujacharya, he had gone through so many difficulties. So even as we speak, we know that he is, he is incarnation of Adisesha, or we listen to many stories, or we hear many stories that he is a divine incarnation. So when we think, when they are the divine incarnation, why do they have to go through so many difficulties, or why do it seems as if they are going through so many karmas? So why is that so? Because when they come into this world to teach, as Adisesha, he is the foremost servant to Lord Narayana, and for him everything is there. I don't think so they will struggle for anything when they are serving Lord Narayana. They do it with immense happiness and pleasure. So when they come onto this world, they go through so many difficulties in their life, so that they can teach the mankind. When one goes through these difficulties, I think they become a better teacher than the one who does not go through any kind of difficulty. So when we look into Ramanujacharya's life also, there are so many of these difficulties, like you cannot name them one or two. There are so many. So now we will come into the life history of Ramanujacharya. Today marks 1009th Tirunakshatram of Ramanujacharya Swami. He was born in the month of Vaishakha, on the day of Panchami in Shukla Paksham. And the year when he was born, that year was called as Pingala. And the nakshatra where he was born, when he was born, is Ardra Nakshatram. So Vaishakha month, the day of Panchami, Shukla Paksham, and Ardra Nakshatram is the Tirunakshatram for Ramanujacharya Swami. So today marks the 1009th birthday. That means he was born 1009 years ago, in the year of 1017. Okay, and his parents were Sri Asuri Keshava Somayaji, his father, and his mother was Srimati Kantimati, and he had two sisters, Bhudevi and Kamala. So this this divine couple, they did not had a son, so they were praying to Lord Adikeshava Perumal for a son. And their main wish was, when they get a son, they should get a son who works for the betterment or the welfare of the mankind. That was their wish. So, when they were praying, they belonged to Sri Perambudur, and Sri Ramanujacharya was born in Sri Perambudur to these divine couple with the blessings of Adikeshava Perumal. So the priest in this temple, even in nowadays too, we see this, and olden days they say the priests are the communication path between the divine and us. So sometimes whatever the priests speak, it comes out to be true. So the priest in the temple, he tells the couple that the Lord himself wants to come as your son for the welfare or for the well-being of the mankind. So hearing this, the couple, gets very happy, and over a period of time, over a period of 1 year, they have a divine child. Kantimati, Ramanujacharya Swami's mother, happens to be the sister for, we all know this great person. He's called Sri Shaila Purnulu. You might have heard he's called Tirumala Nambi from Tirumala Kshetram. He used to offer his divine seva for Sri Venkateshwara Swami in the Tirumala Hills. So this Tirumala Nambi happens to be the brother of Ramanujacharya's mother, Kantimati. So after the divine child was born, Sri Shaila Purnulu happens to visit Kantimati and Sri Asuri Keshava Somayajulu. So once he visits, and when he has a look at the child, he sees the divine form of the child, and he tells, this child is gonna be a great, great source of knowledge for the entire mankind, and he is gonna service Lord Narayana as Lakshmana Swami has done to Ramachandra Murthy in the Treta Yugam. So seeing upon this, he names the child as Ilaya Perumal. Ilaya Perumal means Chinna Perumal. So that is the name for Lakshmana Swami. So he names the child as Lakshmana Murthy, and later on the name becomes Sri Ramanuja. Rama Anuja means he is the Anuja for Rama. So in other words, Ramanuja is none other than Lakshmana Murthy. So he becomes famous as Ramanujacharya, this child. At an early age, his father wants to see him as a Gruhastha. So he marries Ramanujacharya to a girl called Tanjamamba. He gets married at a very early age. And at the age of 16, his father passes away. And they are based in Sri Perumbudur till then. After his father passes away at the age of his 16th year, Ramanujacharya Swami, he, along with his mother, his wife, he moves to a place called Tiruputkuli, which is near Kanchipuram. So he moves to this place along with his wife and mother, and he starts to take care of them there. And also, he is very much interested to gain, the Vedic knowledge, the knowledge about the scriptures, and also not only the Veda Shastras, but also Vedanta Shastras. So what is Vedic Shastras and what is Vedantam? When we all know, we all have this background, even though we live this common life, we all know our background comes from the, scriptures, the Vedic scriptures. So these Vedic scriptures describe how, a man should live his life. Or as a matter of fact, these Vedic scriptures describe everything, every part of this universe, how everything is made, how everything came into this existence, how, the different chaturvarnyas and how everybody lives their life, whether it's a human, whether it's animals, whether it's tavaras or jangamas, or whether it's devatas. It talks about everything. So the Vedic scriptures, when they talk about all this, it also talks about Vedantam. What does Vedantam means? Here, Vedantam does not mean, as we hear to this word Vedantam, whenever we hear to this word, we feel as if, you leave everything and you're talking about like a vairagyam, something that kind of when you hear to that word Vedantam. But Veda Antam means the part of the Vedic scriptures which describes the beautiful entity in this universe. What is the beautiful form or beautiful entity in this universe? That is the divine. That is the Bhagavan. That is the Lord Narayana. So Veda Antam means, the meaning for Antam is also means beautiful. So the part which talks about the beautiful divine form is called the Vedantam. So he not only learns about the Vedic scriptures, he also learns about the, the ultimate, the divine, Lord Sriman Narayana. So when he is learning this, he seeks, as I said, he seeks many gurus, many teachers. The first guru for him is his father. He learns, the basic Vedic scriptures from his father. After the demise of his father, when he moves to this town of Tiruputkuli, he seeks, the knowledge from his guru called Yadava Prakashulu. So when, Yadava Prakasha is Advaitic, he preaches the Advaitic philosophy. So he joins Yadava Prakasha and he starts to learn Advaitam from Yadava Prakasha. So Ramanujacharya used to be such a disciple where he not only does the seva for his acharya, but also, if he feels, because he has an immense knowledge himself, and at the same time he seeks, the knowledge from his gurus. So when he is learning, if he feels like, something is not right, or if somebody is not saying the right attributes for the divine, because he loves the divine so much that he cannot hear anything low or less about, Lord Sriman Narayana. So when Yadava Prakasha was, teaching him, he talks about Lord's attributes, about Lord's gunas, and tells him that he is a nirguna. And, when they talk about the nirguna in the Advaitic philosophy, they say, oh, he does not have any gunas. So, listening to these kind of explanations, Ramanujacharya is not very happy to listen to these, because, the divine or Sriman Narayana is someone who is filled with gunas, who has like, Anantamaina gunas. Like he has many Kalyana gunas. So what does it mean when they say Nirguna? Why are they using this word Nirguna? And his teacher says, oh, he does not have any gunas. So when his teacher teaches him that, the divine does not have any gunas, then Ramanujacharya comes up and tells the guru, when the scriptures talk about his nirguna tattvam, it does not mean that he does not have any gunas. Nirguna tattvam means, Vedic scriptures. At one place, they say he is a Saguna Brahma. And at another place, the Vedic scriptures, they talk about this Nirgunatvam too. So the acharyas, or the divine, the philosophical teachers who come into this world, they should have a complete knowledge of what these terms are. When the Vedic scripture says Sadguna, what does it mean? When the Vedic scripture says Nirguna, what does it mean? So Ramanujacharya comes in front of his teacher and he explains him. When the scripture says that he is a Suguna Brahma, that means he is filled with all the Kalyana Gunas. And when it says Nirguna, it does not mean that he does not have any gunam. It means that he does not have the gunas which a common human possesses. We possess like lot of unwanted qualities too within us, whereas Lord Sriman Narayana only possesses all the good qualities. He does not have any unwanted quality, and he always, his form is always for the betterment of the mankind. He's always for the universe. Whereas for ourselves, we always think about ourselves and our selfish motives. So Ramanujacharya comes in front of his teacher and he tells him, when it talks about the Nirguna Tattvam, it does not mean that he does not have any gunas. He has all the Kalyana gunas, but when it says the Nirguna, it does not have the gunas as what we possess as humans. That's what is, the scriptures are talking about. So in this way, he contradicts the Guru in many issues. When he talks about the divine, or when he talks about the attributes of Lord Narayana. Listening to these explanations of Ramanujacharya, the young Ramanuja, Yadava Prakasha starts to, he knows Ramanujacharya is very intellectual, and he can grasp the knowledge just in within one session. He can grasp all the knowledge. You don't need to repeat over and over to him. So he knows all that. But since he is putting him in a position where he's being shown as not right, so he starts to develop an anger towards Ramanuja, the young Ramanuja. So once he starts to develop this anger, as as us, we are, as a common man, we have all these Arishad Vargas. But when you are in the position of an Acharya or a teacher, you should be devoid of all these qualities. Then only you can portray the qualities of divine. So then he starts to even plot against Ramanujacharya to kill the young Ramanuja. Once he plans to take him to Kashi and drown him in Ganga, but luckily, the Ramanujacharya has a cousin called Govinda, and this Govinda is the one who alerts Ramanujacharya when they are traveling to Kashi, and he tells, your teacher Yadava Prakasha is trying to kill you. Then he realizes, and he goes back. He walks back towards Kanchi, and when he starts back in those forests, he comes up across a couple, tribal couple. And when this tribal couple, they guide him through that forest, and they ask him, show him one spot and tell them, you can sleep in this for tonight, and then tomorrow morning you can wake up and go on your way back to where you came from. So Ramanujacharya, he seeks the divine blessings of that tribal couple, and he sleeps through that night in that forest. And he realizes the divine couple, the lady of the tribal couple, she asks for water. then Ramanujacharya goes to a nearby place where he finds a well, and he out of that leaf cup, he makes a cup of a leaf out of a leaf, and he brings water and hands it to the tribal couple. By the time he comes and sees for the couple is no more there, and they disappear, and he realizes that he is in Kanchi, not in the forest anymore. So once he realizes that he is in the town of Kanchi, he goes and visits Lord Varadaraja Perumal and Perundevi Tayar, and then he realizes this is the divine couple who has helped him in the forest so that he did not get lost, and he has reached to Kanchi. So from, Tiruputkuli, he moves his family to Kanchi, and there he meets up another guru called Kanchi Purnulu. Kanchi Purnulu used to do divine service for Lord Varadaraja Swamy, and he had a very good connection with Lord Varadaraja, and he used to, have conversations, maybe thoughts, or he used to have conversations with the Lord. So this Kanchi Purnulu, Ramanujacharya has a good friendship with this Kanchi Purnulu, and he gains lot of knowledge from Kanchi Purnulu, and he gives a set of questionnaire to Kanchi Purnulu to go to Varadaraja Swamy and get the answers for these questions. And these questions, they include, like, the ultimate divine knowledge a soul can have, like, who am I? And when a soul is about to leave this world, how does the Antima Smriti affect him? What is it gonna do? How does the Antima Smriti gonna decide his, next life? So these kind of questions, he has set of questions. He gives these to Kanchi Purnulu to find out the answers from Varadaraja Swamy, and he gets the answers from Varadaraja Swamy. So meanwhile, he also talks to Kanchi Purnulu about the plot that Yadava Prakasha was trying to, kill him for any reason. So Kanchi Purnulu tells him, don't take it seriously to your heart. Just, try to live in Kanchi and do the Tirtha Kainkaryam for Lord Varadaraja Perumal, and live in Kanchi itself. Do not go to Tiruputkuli, or do not go back to Yadava Prakasha yet. So like that, he starts to live in, Kanchi for a while. While he's living in Kanchi, he tries to gain, more knowledge into Vedic scriptures. He's a very, very, very keen disciple whose focus is only to learn knowledge and nothing else. He used to not get distracted towards these worldly pleasures or anything. Only his attraction was to gain the knowledge about the scriptures, or gain the knowledge which is helpful for the universe. So while, living in Kanchi, he comes actually he does not see Yamunacharya. He is the guru for Ramanujacharya. We are gonna see in his later life how Yamunacharya and how much Yamunacharya has affected, Ramanujacharya. So in the Vaishnava tradition, I don't know if you have heard or not, but always, Lord Narayana is the one who gives the divine knowledge, whether it is the Ashtakshari, Dvayamantram, Charamashlokam. It is Lord Narayana himself who has given it out to this world. When it comes to the Ashtakshari Mantram, he gives it in the Badrika Kshetram to Nara. Narayana gives the Ashtakshari mantra to Nara. And when it comes to the Dvaya Mantram, in the Paramapadam, Lord Narayana gives the Dvaya Mantram to Lakshmi Devi. From Lakshmi Devi, it goes to Vishwaksena. From Vishwaksena, it comes on to this world. So, and the third, the Charama Shlokam, the trio, the third, mantra in the Vaishnava, the trio of the mantra, the Charama Shlokam, is being told by Sri Krishna Paramatma to Arjuna, which is given later on to this entire mankind. So, whatever may be the mantra, Lord Narayana himself gave these mantras. So, in the Sri Vaishnava tradition, we know, even when we, we sing the Guru Parampara, we say, the first person whom we, talk about is Lakshmi Nada Samarambam Nadayamuna Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So Lakshmi Nada Samarambam. This tradition starts with Lakshmi Nadudu, and in between comes Nada Yamuna. So this Nada is the Nada Muni. He is the grandfather of Yamuna Charya. So this Nada Muni, he used to live in the banks of Yamuna Nadi in Vrindavan. So he used to live there because he has utmost love for Lord Krishna. And he used to live where, Lord Krishna grew up, where Lord Krishna was a child and was a teenager. So he used to live in Vrindavanam. When he was living in Vrindavanam, once it happens that he comes to South India to visit different Divya Deshams, which were sung by Alvars. So when he comes to Divya Desham in Alvar Tirunagari, he listens the priests in the temple, Adinarayana Perumal temple. They sing the praise for the Lord. So once he listens to these praises, he gets attracted. Nadamuni, he gets attracted to these praises, and he found out from the priests, what are you singing? What are these praises of the Lord which you are singing? Where did you get these from? So the priests in the temple tell them, these are some of the praises from something called Nalaira Divya Prabandham. Nalaira Divya Prabandham is a set of 4,000 shlokas which were sung by Alvars. So these shlokas they are singing. So he asks the priests, where can I find them? What are these and where can I find them? The priests tell them, once upon a time there lived Alvars. They sang these Nalaira Divya Prabandham, but we do not have them anymore. We have very few of these verses and we are singing them. So he wants to, Nada Muni has the quest for knowledge. He wants to know, what is this Nalaira Divya Prabandham? And how did Alvars sing this? And who were these Alvars? So with all this knowledge, he gets to know about Nammalvar in Alvar Tirunagari. Nammalvar is from Alvar Tirunagari, once Nammalvar finishes his life on this earth, Madhura Kavi Alvar, praise the Lord, to give some kind of Nammalvar for us so that we can pray upon our Alvar. So the Perumal in Alvar Tirunagari, he gives a small statue of Nammalvar to Madhura Kavi Alvar. So that statue is saved even today. You can see the Archamurti of Nammalvar in Alvar Tirunagari. So Nadamunlu goes to this place where this Murti of Nammalvar is, and he prays upon to Nammalvar, and there is some kind of rule. If you chant a mantra for, I think, I'm not sure about the number, but 1,20,000 or something. If you chant so many times, whoever you're chanting to will answer your questions. So that's why he does that to Nammalvar. He chants his mantra for 1,20,000 times. And then he hears a sound from the Archa of Nammalvar, asking him, what do you want? Why are you praying for me? Then Nada Muni happens to ask for, the divine knowledge given by Nammalvar, in the Nalayara Divya Prabandham. So once Nammalvar starts to give this Nalayara Divya Prabandham in the form of Archa, they are divided by a curtain. The Nammalvar's Archamurti sits on the other side and Nadamuni is on the other side. And he gives out all the Divya Prabandhams which were told by Alvars and Nadamuni scriptures, everything, all the Nalayara Divya Prabandhams. That's how these Divya Prabandhams came into existence once again. They disappeared way before Nadamuni got to know this. So, with this divine knowledge, Nadamuni established the Vaishnava tradition and he asked his disciples to pass on this tradition to his grandson, who is Yamunacharyulu and who used to live in, Srirangam. Yamunacharya Swamy has a story to himself too. We are not going to get into that, but we will just know that, he is the grandson of Nadamunulu and he is also the Acharya for Ramanujacharya. So Yamunacharyulu, he used to live in Srirangam and once he goes to Kanchi to pray upon Lord Varadaraja Swami. So when he happens to be in Kanchi, he sees the young Ramanuja there. Even though Ramanujacharya Swami does not see Yamunacharyalu. So once he sees the young Ramanuja, he recognizes that, this is the person who is gonna be the future Acharya for the mankind. And he keeps that in mind. Okay, we need to. He does not speak to Ramanujacharya at that time. He goes back to Srirangam and then after a little while, he asks his disciples to go and get Ramanujacharya to Srirangam because he will be in his last days, Yamunacharya Swami. So, it's already 9:30, so we are going to continue tomorrow how Ramanujacharya Swami comes to Srirangam from Kanchi and how he leads his life in Srirangam and how does he gain the mantras. Is it easy for him to gain the mantras or was it difficult for him, and what does he do with the mantras he gained? We are going to learn all that tomorrow. So this is for today. And if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Thank you, Shalini Master. This is a very beautiful, wisdom-filled session. We are very delighted to hear about the Ramanujacharya's history, and it's a very knowledgeable session.
Actually, yeah, it's very, very, very knowledgeable. We will do at least in 2 to 3 sessions. Even tomorrow, I don't think so we can finish it. I don't want to, rush and finish it off. We want to do it in the right way. So I just gave a brief introduction today. We will go a little deeper tomorrow and day after.
Sure, Master. If you guys have any questions on any topics, please raise your hands. How do you want to handle the meditation, Master? Shall I put some recorded ones?
Yes, yes.
ఓకే ఫ్రెండ్స్, మనము రామానుజుల వారి గురించి కొంచెం జ్ఞానం తెలుసుకున్నాం కదా. ఇక్కడతో ఈ సెషన్ ఎండ్ చేసుకుందాము. హనుమంతుల వారికి, హనుమ గారికి కృతజ్ఞతలు చెప్పుకుంటూ సెషన్ ఎండ్ చేసుకుందాము. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ జాయినింగ్ ది సెషన్. మాధవి గారు సెషన్ ఎండ్ చేస్తారా?
శ్వేత గారు మీకే హోస్ట్ ఉంది చేసేసేయండి.
ఓకే అండి.